What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys some more Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega, chapter 222, entitled Jack of One Trade? Nah. Jack of Two Trades? Jack of Three Trades? Getting warmer. And Jack of All Trades. Katahara Retsudo is in the house, and he dominates to no one's great surprise, and that's the chapter. Alright. That's it. Hope you guys have a good one, and, well, you know, that's the chapter. What are you still doing here? I mean, no, seriously, like, there's not a whole lot to review in this particular chapter, because to no one's great shock, to no one's great surprise, Retsudo is no C-tier chump, B-tier chump, right? He is a strong-ass fighter. He's a top-tier fighter. We were told, and see, here's the problem. Because of shonen and saying the way battle mangas work is you have a power scaling community sitting right there ready to chomp down. No matter how crazy toxic it is, or how, you know, it's a little toxic, but it's always going to be there. Power scaling is always going to be there. And the one true thing about power scalers is they believe that told feats count for nothing. So I guess this clears up that matter for anybody with more than half a brain cell. They know told feats do matter, right? I mean, just look at the One Piece. Trust me, power scaling, that's nuts. But Retsudo, to no one's true, maybe some power skills, but no one's true great surprise, shows off his skills. He's a very powerful fighter, and he does use Salat. Now, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that martial art. I've heard it pronounced many ways. Salute. I've heard it pronounced Silat. I've heard it pronounced a lot of things, but I always called it Salat. So that's, you know, if I'm wrong, correct me down below. But it's also to no one's great shock that he follows in his footsteps of his master, the 8th Fang, Misasa. So both showcasing that he can use both unarmed and armed combat as well against this particular fighter, who also went right for the knife almost immediately in this little scuffle. That's all I'm going to call it, is a scuffle, because what this showed us was basically Retsudo's a badass, as he was always showed. He completely dominated this guy. They got their guide, who was very much, all I could think of was Medica Box. And if you guys don't know why I was thinking of Medica Box, go read Medica Box. I can understand another specific, if you've ever read Kenshin, I can see where you're getting parallels here too. But that's all I could see, first see was Medica Box for some obvious reasons. But anyways, the guide shows up and says, we gotta go right now because this place is about to be a goddamn war zone, and it could take minutes, it could take hours, but we have no time to waste. We gotta get through the disputed territory, the disputed zone right now, and go get Ryuki. So that's pretty much the chapter. They prove themselves with Retsudo, and they get their guide, and they go forth. So that's pretty much the review of the chapter, but I will just say right now is that Retsudo even seems to contradict himself to a degree, but I don't think he's really contradicting himself. I think he's simply being modest. I think he's being a really modest guy and hiding his inner ambition. See, there's this thing called, I guess, reading comprehension, and it also, it applies even with these very, you know, steroid-induced friggin' muscle head, you know, let's go for it type of manga. Because Retsudo, it was always implied that he might be, not necessarily, some people even took it that he wants to betray his father and inevitably be like a tyrant and a dictator and take over the Kengan Association and rule the world. But I don't think that's it. I think he just strives to take his father's place and have his level of, the level of his father's respect, his father's influence, the pride of being a Katahara, like all those things. He aspires to be as great or even beyond his father. Living in that great shadow for so many years, so many decades, would do that, you know, that's his goal. His goal is not to be the king or the emperor of the Kengan matches, of purgatory, of underground fighting. That's not his thing. As he tells Koga in one way, hey, like, you could have been a great fighter in this chapter. Like, why aren't you a fighter? And he's just like, oh, no. Like, even though right before this, Oma states that, well, yeah, of course Retsudo's a badass. And we were told this before. Once again, power scalers be damned, but told feats count. Guys like Agito already said, like, why aren't you the Fang? Like, you know. And if you're not going to trust the word of one of the top tiers in the verse, then when he thinks a guy could be the Fang, then, I mean, I don't know what you guys are smoking, but we always knew Retsudo was a real badass, and we knew he could fight. We've been told we know the bodyguards just as a unit are no slouches. You know, they're not top of the verse, but a lot of the bodyguards are not weak. I mean, seriously, like, go back and read Asura, like I just completed doing last night, and the bodyguards are not real slouches. It's just that this is a fantastical world with the best of the best in this particular island at the time, so shit goes down. But yeah, so just becoming a bodyguard alone is a grueling training camp. I actually remember the fight, the worst fight, of course, between Hatsumi and Agito, where the bodyguards were training, and that's where you become the Fang. Sometimes you're selected from the bodyguards themselves, and in this particular instance, that's where Hatsumi went to become a candidate for the next Fang, was look at all these bodyguards training massively to be at least this level. Like, there's a competency level, you know, to be a bodyguard. Like, just being a fighter just ain't gonna cut it, right? So, I say all this to say that Retsudo was, of course, never gonna be weak. But right here, he's extremely modest, because Oma states he's one of the only people that when Oma and Ryan, remember for 2 years, you know, time skip and stuff, were going at it and training and seeing who could win, the only one who was able to step between them was Retsudo. Now, I think this implies that at the time there was no one else in the villa of the Cure clan. Nobody else, you know, that knew that Oma and Ryan were sparring, that was there in the vicinity, could have stepped between them other than this man. That being said, it's still a fantastic feat if you don't take it that way. If you just take it as he's one of the only ones that could step between me and Ryan and you know, stop us sort of idea. So Oma states this, and there shortly after, Retsudo goes, "Oh no, I couldn't be a fighter. Like, look, I'm a jack of all trades. Hence the title of the chapter. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm pretty proficient at weapons, and I'm pretty proficient at, you know, fisticuffs. But I'm not a master of either, so, you know, I could never be a fighter. You know, I could never beat a barehanded fighter, you know, a master level." And we're all sitting back here. Okay, that's humble as fuck and just incorrect. But then we get that panel down below that just, he goes, "Besides, I have far higher ambitions and stuff." It's like, yeah, Retsudo could have gone far in Cat. Because Retsudo would have went far in any of the Kengan tournaments, easily. He would have been great for the Purgatory lineup. He would have been great for a lot of lineups. But that's not his drive. That's not his goal. And he doesn't aspire to beat the shit out of himself to prove that he's the king of such a small stage. Right? He wants to be the king of it all sort of idea. He aspires to be as great as his father or better. So I really like this chapter, just for the sole fact that finally any Retsudo naysayers, though they are a small minority, they did exist. Now they can all shut the hell up. But then again, you know what's going to happen. They'll still take this and go, well, since the general is clearly such a joker of a character, and seriously, what a clown of a character. He looks like a clown to me. He seriously looks like a clown to me. And he hyped up this dude like he's born in the inside, and he's one of my strongest men, and he's deadly, and all this stuff. And then Retsudo absolutely stomped him. People are going to once again use the whole, well, spoken feats don't count. Alright, whatever. I don't see it that way, but it is what it is. I think Retsudo was just showing off that, yeah, this guy probably is strong. He's probably hovering around top of C tier in some respects, or even maybe a low B tier. But this dude is fighting for a position to be the top of A, getting himself into the S tier when it comes to fighting. So yeah, I just think it was a great way to show off Retsudo, and now we can continue on with the Ryuki rescue arc, or the inside arc as it's, I guess, been dubbed. But what did you guys think of the chapter? I really liked it. As I said, I guess I went on a bit of a Retsudo character thing, because, once again, he owned this dude in the face at his own game, knife play, and then they got their creepy mummy guide, and they left. That's the long and the short of the chapters, so, but it was still fun, went by quick. Sometimes those are just enjoyable. So, you know, some of these chapters, lo and behold, in a battle shonen manga, sometimes they fight is the chapter. So, but anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys back here next time for some more Kengan. Omega. Chapter 203, looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. See you back here next time. Bye-bye.